In 1587, a group of people from England set out for the American lands, crossing the Atlantic Ocean in the hope of a new life. Their goal was to establish a new colony on the coast of what is now North Carolina, the settlement of Roanoke. It would be one of the first English colonies in the New World, but this colony turned into one of the largest and most mysterious disappearances in history. At first, everything seemed fine. Led by an experienced explorer named John White, the colonists settled on the island, built houses, and cultivated the land. But soon, serious problems began to arise. Food shortages, tensions with local tribes, and diseases made their lives hell. John White decided to leave the colonists for a while and return to England. His goal was to bring more food, weapons, and aid. But when war broke out in England with Spain, White was forced to change his plans. He was only able to return to Roanoke 3 years later, in 1590. And the sight he encountered was shocking. There was no sign of the colony. The houses were destroyed. The people were gone. There were no signs of battle, no traces of blood, no bodies, nothing. Just a strange word written on a tree.
In the hot summer of 1587, the colonists who had set out from England finally reached Roanoke Island. When they arrived, they knew that they would be working to build a new life here, but many did not know that this journey would be their last. The leader of the new colony was John White. An experienced cartographer and artist, White had been to these lands before. His goal this time was to establish a permanent settlement. White's daughter, Eleanor, was born here, and they witnessed the birth of the first English-born American with a baby named Virginia. All these events seemed to symbolize hope for the future. But the Roanoke lands were not as hospitable as they had thought. Soil was poor, the crops were poor, and the lack of water was a major problem. Relations with the local tribes were also increasingly strained. At first, there were more or less friendly relations, but due to the pressure and mistakes of the colonists, due to the lack of resources, the situation changed. Conflicts gradually increased and confrontations broke out. Against the background of these hardships, John White decided to return to England. The goal was to bring additional supplies and support to the colony. White's planned quick return was unexpectedly delayed. The war with the Spanish Armada, which began in England in 1538, caused all ships to be used for military purposes. As a result, White was unable to return for 3 years. In the early 1600s, White finally returned to the island. The sight that awaited him there revealed a mystery unparalleled in history. The disappearance of the Roanoke colony has been a subject of interest to archaeologists and historians for centuries. The most intriguing question is, where did these people go? And why is there no trace of them? In the 1990s and early 2000s, various excavations were carried out in this area. In particular, hundreds of archaeological expeditions were organized around Roanoke Island and nearby Hatteras Island, formerly Croatoan Island. These studies found ancient pottery shards, European-style metal tools, and some weapons. Some of these items were discovered in the territories of local Indians. This, according to some scholars, meant that the colonists did not disappear, but simply coexisted with the local tribes. If this is true, then they could have changed their culture. What do you think? Write your opinion in the comments.